I'm not going to really get into the process part of the budget right now, but I did have some couple questions because I know we're talking about public protection, and certainly we have some questions about what's in there or where it is, if it's not here. So I was hoping maybe you might be able to shed some light if it's in this budget or if it might be in another part of the budget, or where it is or where it's not. But I wanted to talk about our correctional system in particular. I know earlier this year, back I think it was around I want to say around September, around December, there was a settlement that was reached between the administration and from a lawsuit that dealt with special housing units in our prison system, where inmates who misbehave or do something wrong, they were put into a special housing unit or like a solitary environment. Because of a lawsuit, the state settled that for, I want to believe it was around $50 million maybe to address that issue. Do you know, was there anything in this budget or this bill that deals with that settlement or the funds for that bill?
Let's see. $3 million was put into solitary confinement reform, and $47 million, over 4 years for facility renovations.
That's in this bill?
Yes.
Okay.
No, hold on. It's in their capital bill.
So that will be coming up in the capital bill?
Yeah.
Okay. How about, and I'm just asking a question because I'm not sure if this would be in the capital bill or not, or if it would be in this bill. But what about issues for our corrections officers? I know that settlement was to try to address issues for inmates who are in prison, but what about, for example, in many of our correctional facilities, because the governor has touted the number of prison closures we've had in the state over the past several years. But anything that's been done as part of this budget bill or one of the future budget bills we're going to see later, dealing with the issue of double bunking or double selling in our prison systems?
There's nothing in this bill.
So there's no plan by this administration or by this budget within this bill, and I know about prospective bill, but there's nothing that was going to deal with the problem that we have in our prison system right now with double bunking and double selling.
Not in this bill.
And are you aware if it might be in one of the future bills? So when that comes up, we can talk about that. Would that come up in the capital bill maybe?
No, not at this point.
All right. So there's nothing in this bill about double bunking or double selling, but there is something in here about dealing with the special housing unit lawsuit that was settled earlier this year.
Yeah.
Is there anything in this bill that was providing for more correction officers to be hired in our prison systems in this bill?
I'm sorry.
Is there anything in this bill that's provided for more correction officers to be hired within our prison system?
Increase. It's not in this bill.
No.
Because it's an appropriation,
All right.
and we're not doing appropriations in this bill. This is language.
Okay. So there's nothing in here about double bunking or double selling. There's nothing in here about more corrections officers being hired. Is there anything to provide for additional training or for our corrections officers? Would that be in a different bill as well?
Different bill.
Different bill. How about for our one of the problems we hear is that not enough for drug dogs, because drugs are a major problem in our prisons right now. And we hear that there's not enough drug dogs to go around to sniff out this problem of drugs. Anything in this bill to deal with that?
No.
All right. But it could be in another bill later.
Yes, it may be.
All right. All right. Denny, thank you for your time. Mr. Speaker, on the bill.
On the bill, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I think part of my frustration and my questions with this area is this is a very important issue for me and for a lot of members on our side of the aisle, and I think some members on your side of the aisle as well. Last year there was a settlement reached between the administration to deal with special housing units in our prison population. This was a tool that was used to deal with inmates who are violent, who are abusing the system, hurting corrections officers, hurting other inmates. And it took away some tools. This settlement took away some tools in using of these special housing units or solitary confinement. I have a concern about that because we're providing a settlement that's going to provide additional money to deal with that issue, but there's no more money to deal with new corrections officers in our prisons. There's no money to deal with training for our corrections officers so they can be safe and know what's going on. There's no money for drug dogs. Drugs, you talk to anyone, our corrections officers in our prison population, drugs are a major problem in our prisons, but not enough drugs for all the drug dogs for the prisons. I don't understand that. This governor has touted the number of prison closures he's made under his watch, including Monterey Shock, which in my opinion was the absolute worst decision, one of the worst decisions this governor has ever made, and this House accepting it. The fact of the matter is, each and every day, we have brave men and women that go into our prisons that go to work, and they don't know if they're going to come home or going to be attacked. Just recently this month, I had a corrections officer in Elmira who was stabbed 3 times. They were trying to break up a fight. They wouldn't listen, and they were stabbed 3 times. We have inmates who are continually being hacked. The assaults in our prison continue to rise. And the issue of double bunking and double selling is still there. I know some have said it's gone away. It's not. I've visited prisons all around the state in my district. You have bunks on top of each other. This is not a safe environment for the corrections officer, and it's certainly not a safe environment for the inmates in that type of situation. If we're going to make that type of commitment to settle lawsuits and make sure that services are provided for our inmates in the prison population, we certainly owe a responsibility and have an obligation to protect the brave men and women who risk their life, who go into a dangerous situation when they leave their families in the morning or night, if it's a shift work, and don't know what's going to happen. We need to give them the tools and resources so they can do their job. We don't want to know what's going on in the prisons. We drive by the prisons. We just hope the people stay in there. But there's brave men and women working in these facilities each and every day, and the fact of the matter is they're not giving the tools they need to do their job so they can be safe. We need to give them the drug dogs so they can sniff out the drugs in prison. We need to give them the training they need. We need to get rid of these double bunking and double selling situations to make sure the situation is safe for the corrections officers and for the inmates. And for talking about all the prison closures and wanting to say how good that is, the assaults continue to rise in our prisons. And the medium security prisons are getting worse and worse because the violent offenders, they're more in those medium security prisons as well. So I think this administration, I think this House really needs to look at this. I don't know, obviously it's not in this bill. Maybe it's in one of the next bills. I doubt it. I would like to see a commitment from this governor to stand up for those individuals who protect us each and every day, doing the job that we don't want to think about, seeing things that we don't even want to see or hear about, but they're at risk every day, and sooner or later, you're going to see another inmate stabbed or attacked, another correction officer stabbed or attacked, and one of the days they're going to lose their life. We need to stand up for these brave men and women who stand up for us, and that's a concern I have, and hopefully we can see more of a commitment from this administration and this body moving forward on this serious, serious issue.